Hi, my name is Bruce Belfield. I'm the owner and head instructor of Fort Lauderdale Jiu Jitsu, and today we're going to be talking about a very important topic, bullying. We're going to talk about what it is and how you can bully-proof your child and yourself. Now, this video is aimed at parents as well as educators who get very little training in this topic. Now, let's first start with what is bullying and distinguish it from conflict, okay? Now, conflict is when two people are having some sort of disagreement. They're arguing, they're fighting, they're disagreeing with each other, or they're having some sort of difference of opinion. And just because two kids are arguing, or it may even break out into something physical, that doesn't mean that it's bullying, okay? Now, bullying is very specifically defined. Bullying has three components. The first component is the intent to hurt the other person, either physically or verbally, okay? So if two kids are arguing over who is supposed to go on the monkey bars, and that's not bullying. If two kids are arguing over a toy, that's not necessarily bullying. They may just be having an argument. They both want it their way, okay? So they're not trying to hurt the other person necessarily. They just want the toy or they want the monkey bars, okay? So bullying first has the intent to hurt. The second component is that it's repeated. Usually it's repeated at least 2 to 3 times a month, or it's a very severe instance, okay? And the third and the most important aspect of bullying is that there's an imbalance of power that exists, okay? We're gonna talk about that a lot. Now, when we talk about an imbalance of power, we're either talking about physically the size of the people are very different, or there's some sort of difference in status or confidence level. So for children, it could be that you have a very confident kid dealing with a very shy and insecure kid. Or in the adult realm, it could be a boss and an employee, okay? But this is very critical, and that's what really separates conflict from bullying, is the imbalance of power and the intent to hurt. Okay? Now, it's also important to realize that either of these, conflict or bullying, could result in a physical altercation, okay? And I think that all parties are very aware, whether you're in an argument or whether it's a bullying situation, that things could escalate into a physical confrontation. Now, the strategies to deal with these are very different, and that's where teachers don't get a lot of training, and we'll talk about that later. But conflict is dealt with conflict resolution strategies. Bullying has a whole separate path to deal with it. So let's go on to the next topic here, which is, what are the different forms of bullying? Now that we know what it is, how can it take shape? So there's both direct and indirect bullying, okay? Now, direct bullying could be the person is bullying directly through hitting, through spitting. We see that a lot with the younger kids. Name calling, making threats to the other person, or obscene gestures. Now, this is not an all-inclusive list, but this is kind of a general idea of some of the things that you might see with direct bullying. Indirect bullying could take the form of one child getting another child to do the above action. So one child getting another child to go and hit somebody. So orchestrating this type of thing. The other types of indirect bullying could be spreading rumors about the other child with the intent to hurt. Social isolation, okay? Not letting a child sit with them at lunch or sit together on the school bus, or trying to get a group of children to not be friends with another child. So this is a type of social isolation. And of course, what we've seen a whole lot of lately is cyberbullying. So doing some of these things through the computer, through the smartphone. Okay, so here's some of the examples of direct and indirect bullying. Next, let's look at what are some of the results that bullying can have. And also, these are great things to be looking for in your child if you think that they might be getting bullied. Because unfortunately, children who are getting bullied don't always come and tell their parents or tell their teachers. Sometimes they keep it to themselves. So some of the results of bullying could be developing a lower self-esteem in the child. You could be seeing some depression, anxiety, absenteeism. So all of a sudden, a child who was very regular at school is missing school a lot. They don't want to go to school, but they may not be telling you why they don't want to go to school, or they might be making an excuse that doesn't really make sense to you. So absenteeism goes up. Lowered school achievement. So you might have a child who's been doing well in school, all of a sudden their grades start going down. And again, it's a little bit of a mystery to parents because the excuse the child is giving really doesn't make sense. So that could be another result of bullying. Sickness. So a child all of a sudden either really getting sick more often because of the stress wearing down their immune system, or they just claim they're getting sick. You hear a lot of stomach ache kind of things. Mom, I have a stomach ache. I don't want to go to school today. And it's just repeated. And the parents can't figure out what's causing these stomach aches or what's causing these physical ailments. And last, but obviously not least, is thoughts of suicide. Okay? And so obviously this is a very serious issue, bullying, and none of these are obviously very good or productive. So these are some of the things to look for if you think that your child might be having an issue with bullying. Okay, now let's look at who are the bullies and who are the kids getting bullied. And this is one of those areas where the things that my generation was told about bullies is actually not correct at all. The research doesn't back it up at all. What we were taught is that usually bullies were actually insecure themselves and they were acting out because of their insecurity. Or maybe they had a problem at home and so they were lashing out at other children. The research doesn't back that up at all. What the research shows is that bullies actually have an above average set of social skills. They're very comfortable with talking with other people. They're very usually the popular ones. They have an above average self-esteem. So there's nothing to indicate at all that they're insecure. And finally, bullies on average find it very easy to associate with adults. Because of their high social skills and self-esteem, bullies are a lot of times the kids that the teachers like to talk to the most because they can hold more of an adult conversation with the teachers, okay? So that's kind of a general picture of who the bullies are. And now, who are the kids who are getting bullied? Well, research shows that generally they're more the quiet kids. They tend to be more cautious and more sensitive. They generally have a lower self-esteem. Generally, they're physically weaker, and they often have just a general fear of getting hurt. And that is what is attracting the bullies towards the kids who are getting bullied. They see these kids as being more shy, having a lower self-esteem, and in the child world, research shows there's big rewards on the short term for the bullies to bully the younger kids. It's unfortunate, but in that world, the bullies get elevated in social status by targeting the more quiet, the more sensitive kids. So that's a picture of the bullies and who are getting bullied. Now let's talk about where this happens. The number one place that research shows that bullies are bullying kids is in the classroom with the teachers present, okay? Now, let's make a note that it's not the teacher's fault. Teachers just do not receive either any training or very little training on bullying, and so when the teachers do actually see something occurring, they oftentimes mistake what they see for just two kids having conflict. And most of what teachers are taught are conflict resolution strategies, which does not work. Because you can get two kids who are arguing over a toy to talk about this and come to an understanding of maybe sharing the toy. But that does not solve bullying because of the underlying issue of the imbalance of power, the imbalance of self-esteem and confidence. There's no amount of talking that's going to sort that problem out. And teachers just aren't trained about this enough. Now, some of the other places that bullying occurs are at the bus or bus stop, the gym or the locker room, the cafeteria, the restrooms, hallways, and the playground or athletic field. So now that we've talked about what bullying is and where it occurs and who the bullies are and what forms it might take and what are the results, let's talk about how to really solve the problem. Oftentimes when I hear of a parent trying to deal with a bullying issue, they try to deal with it by going to the school and talking to the teachers, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with trying to address the bully and their bad behavior. However, it doesn't solve the root cause. So how do we deal with this at the root cause? Well, the root cause, if your child has a little bit of a lack of confidence, we need to get that up. First, we need to raise the child's confidence, raise the child's self-esteem, okay? And that oftentimes will start to deal with the problem, because when you raise a child's self-esteem, there's no imbalance of power, okay? The next thing we need to do is we need to prepare the child to just understand how to protect themselves with some self-defense. Because again, we know that both conflict and bullying can result in a physical fight. And while many sports activities might raise a child's confidence, if a child is a chess champion, they're going to feel very confident and proud of themselves. If a child is a swimming champion, they could feel very proud of their swimming accomplishments. However, and those are great activities, and I encourage all of those things. However, none of those prepare a child to actually defend themselves. And when a child learns self-defense, they actually become more confident and less likely to ever have to actually use their self-defense skills. They physically walk differently, they talk differently. And the kids who are bullies see that and avoid them. They see that confidence, and unfortunately they're going to look elsewhere to some other child who doesn't have this confidence and this projected ability to handle themselves. And so preparing for self-defense, entering your child into a martial arts program at least 1 or 2 days a week, it's the statistically most important thing for eradicating bullying, okay? Now, the other thing I'd like to say is, even if you're not seeing these signs of bullying in your child, statistics show that they will encounter bullying at some point in their school career. This stuff often happens as early as late elementary school, 4th or 5th grade, definitely into the middle school years for sure, and then slowly tapering off or taking different forms in high school. There's no reason to wait for a problem to occur before enrolling your child in a self-defense program, because even if there's no bullying going on right now, the boost in confidence, the boost in their self-esteem, their ability to speak in public, and also to have a great workout and have a lot of fun and make some new friends is invaluable. So I'm going to highly encourage you guys, if you haven't checked out martial arts, please do so. If you're in the Fort Lauderdale area, please stop by. We're offering a new student special right now, 2 free weeks to come and see what we can do to help not only with your child's discipline, their confidence, their focus, but also their ability to defend themselves. And again, our goal is never to make children aggressive, but it's to make them confident so that they will never actually have to use the skills that they're learning. Okay? So again, this video is meant for a quick crash course. If you're a teacher or parent and you would like more information, please reach out and I'd be happy to help. Again, my name is Bruce Belfield. I'm from Fort Lauderdale Jiu Jitsu, and I hope to see you on the mats very soon. Thank you for listening.